Oh, there you are. Hi. Welcome, Leo, to your Leo April 2021 reading and forecast. It's great to see you. I'm Nigel Saint James, for those of you who haven't seen me before, but the subscribers, it's great to love and affection to you. It's great to see you back again. I always love seeing you. We have good fun here, don't we? It's different. It's good on this channel. Now, this particular deck, you've probably not seen this before. I haven't, and it was given to me by a former lover. This is before I had children, so yeah, some time ago. And she's a witch, in a nutshell, and or a wise woman, I suppose you'd call her. And she said, "Look, this is a very difficult deck to read, and so you might want to have a go at it, Nigel." And in fact, I love it. It really speaks to me. So I think it's going to speak to you as well, Leo, for this month of April in 2021. So we're going to draw 5 cards and we shall see what there is in store for you. Incidentally, I've had some private readings with a number of you, haven't I, over the course of the last month. And if you want to have a private reading with me, just check out the information in the description box below. But let's have a look and see what there is in store for you. We're going to get 5 cards and see. There's the 10 of Cups. What's coming here? There is the 10 of Swords. What is this? Don't be frightened by that 10 of Swords, incidentally. That's actually got a good meaning in this context with this Knight of Cups next to it and the 10 of Cups there. Very interesting, though. Very interesting. I want to see what the bottom row is and see what that has to say. Excellent. There's the 10 of Wands. So that is on the diagonal and that resolves it. And let's have a look at this thing. And there is the 8 of Swords. Leo, why don't you come and sit down next to me? Have a look at the imagery on these cards. I'll let them talk to me and I'll tell you what they have to say for you for this month. Let's have a look at this first card. This is the 10 of Cups. Now, the 10 of Cups, well, the Lord of Perfected Success, I call this card. It is Mars ruling the 3rd decan of Pisces, that 9th to the 19th of March, I think. I think what we're speaking about here is satisfaction, fulfillment radiating. Now, this is notwithstanding these sword cards, which are over here. You're probably asking yourself, why have I got a 10 of Swords? Why have I got an 8 of Swords? I'll get to that in just a moment. What's more important is that these things are being overshadowed by these cards here, and you'll see why. Now, if I look at these 10 cups, they are arranged in the form of the Kabbalistic. You know the Kabbalah? The mystical Kabbalah. They're formed in they call them the various Sephirot, actually, of the Tree of Life. You'll probably be familiar with that. Just look it up anyway if you're not. It's quite an interesting area to be studying. Everything is in its right place in perfectly harmonious order. This is an image of deep fulfillment. The image of the flowers coming through here, they kind of overflow and pour into all who take part. Everyone who is prepared to receive takes part in this rich river of love. Now, the handless cups are made of, well, it could well be glass. The transformation is complete and can now combine with the energy of Mars, which is ruling it. Mars in the constellation of Pisces, which is spiritual, expresses itself not by being crude, injurious, or unruly, but by providing the apparently fragile being, like glass, with the decisiveness needed to bring forth into the outer world the beauty which it holds deep within. Now, this doesn't require any dramatic demonstrations of emotion. A fulfilled person simply radiates this quality and is recognized by the fruit that she or he bears. Now, the overriding message that this energy is saying here is that you should let things develop by themselves. Everything comes to you at the right moment. Relax, close your eyes and breathe deeply and calmly. Let a picture arise in you which shows you in a state of complete fulfillment. Repeat this exercise often and connect this feeling more and more with your reality. There is a great deal of emotional passion and vitality associated with this energy. So say to yourself, life gives me all I need to be happy. Now let's turn to another 10. You've got 3 10s. Surprised you haven't got 4. Anyway, 3. This is the 10 of Wands. Let's have a look at this. Here we have, now the developer says it is Saturn ruling Sagittarius. Well, I would say it's the 3rd decan of Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius wants to expand and express its optimism and its spiritual side. And Saturn can, in some respects, be about restriction, and it can be, therefore, repressing the expansive nature of Sagittarius. It's quite possible here, and I'm saying that because I'm looking at these sword cards that are beside it on the other side of the column here, that there are some repressed feelings, energy held back, isolation, aggression, maybe being overburdened. You do tend to overburden yourself at times. You do take on too much. Maybe you're feeling the pressure. Maybe you feel that you have no control over circumstances. Or maybe that you are a victim of your own success. You know, Sagittarian readiness to communicate may be blocked here by Saturn. It's possible that fear can arise. If you fear rejection, disapproval, or punishment, you will begin to repress your own impulses. Your strength, your vitality, and your life energy cannot be expressed. Repressed, these energies turn into irritation, rage, violence. If this aggression finds no external outlet, you may even begin to turn it in upon yourself, and it may express itself as self-denigration or depression in all of its aspects. This is an invitation, this card. Recognize and end your repression and restriction of your own life impulses. This is a step towards taking responsibility for yourself and freeing yourself from unjustifiable moral restrictions and limitations. Now, whether you are consciously repressing yourself or not, recognize that there is much more which you would like to express or to experience, to enjoy and to celebrate, isn't there? So dare. There are some things that you have always wanted to say to certain people. What are those things and who are those people? You can, for the time being, just for yourself, express those things right now. It's okay. And say this to yourself. I have the right to follow my feelings and life impulses. So where shall we go next? We may as well go to this card here, I think, which is who? The Knight of Cups. Very good. Interesting. Interesting esoteric stuff here. Now, this is the symbol for fire, and this is the symbol for water. This symbol for water appears because he's in the suit of cups, right? And cups is water, as you know. Now, fire relates to him because he's the knight. He is the head of the family, along with his wife, who would be the queen in this case. And he's fire. Now, fire and water, well, they don't mix, really, do they? So we should expect to see some sort of conflict in his nature. There's another interesting thing here. I don't know whether you can see it. Do you see this little symbol here? That is a Hebrew, an ancient biblical Hebrew letter. It's the 5th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, and it is the letter Hey. Now, Hey represents divine, let me pull that out a bit for you, divine revelation, the breath of the Creator. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a book of the Old Testament, or the Hebrew Bible, known as the Book of Psalms, and in Psalm 33, verse number 6, it says, I'm sure, by the word of the Lord the heavens were made, and by the breath of his mouth all their host. So it means breath of the Creator. So the world, the material universe, was created with the utterance of the Hey. It represents the gift of life and creates the verb of being in the Hebrew, Hayah being the word. It is divinity, the spiritual life that comes about through the first 4 letters that precede it. It represents the life essence in all creation, and it symbolizes the effortlessness of the world and is the symbol of divinity, gentility, and specificity. It contains within it the freedom of choice as well. There's still free will. Hey, of course, is one of the letters of the holy name. Now, the holy name, you may know, YHVH, which people know is often pronounced as Yahweh. We don't know that that's the pronunciation because we don't know, there were no vowel markers that were on the ancient manuscripts, so we don't actually know how it was pronounced, but it's come into popular usage as Yahweh, or in the Hebrew, it would be Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, those 4 letters. So that's what that means. But what does this mean? Well, I'm getting a lot of Pisces here, and I'm getting a lot of Aquarius. I'm getting Aquarius because I think that this is a time when you'll be independent and possibly hard to pin down, but you will have a very good humanitarian outlook. I'm also getting the feeling of Pisces around because I think that you will be quite sensitive. You'll be very sensitive, I think. But it's possible that because there's a fire and a water here, you might at times have a bit of a split personality. So you may cross over into different parts of who you are, all the different parts of who make you up. So don't be surprised if that happens. There's nothing wrong with that. It's called living. Now, if it's somebody else, it is, now of course it can be male or female court cards. I'll refer to it as a man for the obvious reason. It is a man with commitment issues. Someone who's pretty friendly, I think, but passive. Someone who is attracted to excitement. Someone who can have an unsustainable enthusiasm for ideas or people or causes. So much to the extent that you drive other people crazy. Someone who is quite sensitive, I think, but deep down they're very shallow. He's mostly passive with the qualities of a Venus or a weak Jupiter. And I'd say he's friendly in a sort of a passive way, but he is on the whole so superficial that it's hard to reach his depth. He's in cups and his name is written in water. He's someone who can be, well, can reach a high degree of spirituality. Someone who does have some generosity and a capacity for giving, but somebody who can also, when you look at the background of the person, sometimes they can be prone to have mismanaged their affairs to the extent that it sort of looks like an unbroken record of failure, in a sense. And he has mental civil wars going on in himself due to this combination of fire and water that he seeks to try and resolve with alcohol or drugs. At best, the person is loving and generous, supporting and tender. They can be capable of high spiritual achievement, as I say. Now, I will say this, though, and the gay and lesbian sections of the audience, please make the necessary adjustment. But this is a person who loves the opposite sex, and the opposite sex loves them. They can't get enough of them. It's a person who's ruled by emotion, not very practical really, and will try to flatter you rather than pick up their share of the expenses, often intensely insecure and needing reassurances. And at worst, they're unfaithful, fickle, shallow, highly emotional and unreliable. But you, I think, you yearn for intensive interchange with those of like mind and like outlook. You need to be with the flock of birds, because birds of a feather flock together. How can the interchange in your relationships be enriched? And say to yourself, though, because I think that this is conducive to it, I am finding the contact that I now need. Now, in a sense, these are a couple of miserable cards, but let's have a look at them anyway. And because there's always something to learn, and they're here for a reason. These things are here to make you better. They're not to put you down or to make you feel bad about yourself. So what is it? Where's the good message in this card that we're going to find? And here's someone here who is sort of hemmed in really a bit, isn't it? This is the Lord of Shortened Force. It's Jupiter ruling the first decan of Gemini, about the 21st to the 31st of May. Well, you know, we were talking about Jupiter before. Jupiter is, of course, the ruler of Sagittarius. And for Jupiter to get into Gemini, it needs to travel 180 degrees away from its home in Sagittarius to the diametrically opposed side of the zodiac in order to get into Gemini. And so it's going to be debilitated, Jupiter. That great benefic is going to be debilitated when it gets there. Jupiter will be weakened, and the inquisitive nature of Gemini inhibits Jupiter. So a weakened Jupiter means that you may feel that you can't get what you want due to too many, that's the Jupiter aspect of it, distractions which may or may not be self-created. Now, I'm talking about distractions here, and these are mental distractions. The reason why I say that is that it says it's Jupiter in Gemini, and I say it's the first decan of Gemini. Well, the first decan of Gemini is actually ruled by Mercury. And Mercury is all about the mind. You know, it has its way of talking about things and bringing things around, worrying and thinking too much about stuff. Difficulty in making choices very much. So you might find that you have analysis paralysis about a particular issue. You may find that you need to choose between two alternatives of apparently equal merit. Now, you're not going to come to a decision by reflecting on this analytically, I don't think. You know, it's not by writing it down on a piece of paper. Your doubt or your fears of making the wrong choice, which you shouldn't have, may well come in and try and destroy your inner clarity. So don't let that happen, because these other cards here are so productive. They're overcoming these. Maybe you lack the endurance to sort the problem out. That's okay. Maybe you find that you can't clarify a confused situation, that you find that no matter where you turn, no satisfactory solution seems to exist, or the more that you try to unravel the tangled ball of yarn, the tighter the knot becomes. Now, Jupiter, of course, is the great benefic, and Jupiter is coming in here. And I think the solution for this situation is for you to take time out and do something different and let Jupiter work in, overcome Gemini, do its work, and let things settle down. And then you can come back and look at things with new eyes. New eyes. So it will sort itself out. So say to yourself, don't worry, I'm relaxed and I trust in life. Now here's a bedraggled looking character in this Ten of Swords. You know, we've got Gemini here again. And this time we have the Sun ruling Gemini, and I think it's the third decan of Gemini, the 12th to the 20th of June. Now, here the Sun in Gemini is, let's be frank, it can be difficult. Because Gemini disperses its energy. And again, this is about the mind and your mind, and so it could be dispersing your focus. The focus is entirely on the intellect, and in a way, because the 10 is actually a very unstable card, it's about to devolve into the next suit, you might be mentally, not mentally unstable, but your approaches to things may be sort of being destabilized. It does give you the warning of the destructive power of negative thinking. Certainly that. You know, sometimes negative thinking and rumination comes about because of things that we have done in the past that we regret, or that we have guilt about, or we feel that we should have handled them differently, or we wish we had have said something to someone, or we wish we had have stood up for ourselves, and we're beating up on ourselves. Well, this card and this energy is specifically coming here to me for you today to tell you this, and it is that despite what you may believe, you can disappoint people and still be good enough. You can make mistakes and still be capable and talented. You can let people down and still be worthwhile and deserving of love. Everybody has disappointed someone they care about. Everyone messes up, lets people down, makes mistakes, not because we're inadequate or fundamentally inept or stupid, but because we are imperfect and fundamentally human. And you know, expecting anything different is just setting yourself up for failure. Because remember, nobody is perfect. That's it for you this month. Well, it was my pleasure and privilege to provide that reading for you. Isn't it interesting, you know, the things that come through with tarot cards? You know how one card can have so many things that it wants to get across to you. It never ceases to amaze me, and I'm confident that you will have enjoyed it as well. Look, and if you do enjoy it, please do me the favor and hit the like button. Apparently it does things for the YouTube gods, and it would help more people see what we ourselves enjoy. But listen, in the meantime though, there's one thing that I want you to remember, and to remember it always, and that is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. Until then, it's bye for now.